Hola, fans of all things scarific. You got Jaime and Fuego here once again. Guess where we're at? You can probably see behind me. Phoenix Film Festival 2018 specifically to cover all of this scarific content that we have for the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival here in 2018. And I just got done last night watching a movie, definitely not horror, okay? So I'm just going to say that right off the bat. However, there was enough just weird, just creepy bits here and there, and a sci-fi angle, but it is primarily of the dramatic variety. We're talking about Imitation Girl. Yeah, Imitation Girl is a film that really spoke to me specifically because of my love of the just dreamy and kind of just strange approach that we get from the predominance of what A24 releases. Now, not everything, because A24 has done stuff like Life After Beth and, Green Room and things like that. So, but they are most notoriously known and loathed by my co-host here on the channel for just doing these dreamy, kind of slow-building, just creepy, odd kind of films, and that is definitely what this movie was. However, I enjoyed it for its weirdness, and it's definitely not for everybody, though, as I have to forewarn. So, premise of this, if we're going in the story, is at the very beginning of the film, just outside of what looks like California and Nevada, like somewhere in that particular area, right out of the sky, what appears to be like a tiny little meteor or something, falls to Earth, and this little kid is just chilling, drinking booze and looking at his porno, and he's seriously maybe 13, 14 years old, and he had just bought this from some kids at an abandoned gas station. So he runs away scared, throws down the magazine, and the magazine has an actress on the front of the adult variety. And what comes out of the sky and whatever, little meteor or whatever the hell it was, because we don't necessarily see what fell to Earth, we just see this black slimy goo that is just kind of crawling across the dirt, the desert landscape, and it kind of sludges across this magazine with this pretty babe status girl on the front, and then lo and behold, it manifests itself as this girl all of a sudden. Yeah. And so that's the form that this strange creature from another world takes, and it's kind of stumbling through the desert, has no idea where it's going, and eventually wanders into town where it meets up with a guy who kind of takes care of her. And it's interesting at how quickly this being can imitate, what it hears and what it witnesses, whether it's mannerisms, language, all these different things. Then we are introduced to the counterpart, the actual adult actress that she took the form of, and her incredibly troubled life. And it's everything from, fighting with a boyfriend to cheating to substance abuse to, being disillusioned with just the trade that she is in. And so it's in a lot of ways a really sad movie, really sad. And it tugs on the heartstrings, and not necessarily in the best of fashion, but in a poignant fashion, that's for sure. And, once again, we've got some sci-fi and a little bit, tiniest tinge of a scare, trippy, weird factor here and there. But for the most part, the bulk, 90% of this movie is full-on drama. It really, really is. And it goes back and forth between how this girl is learning, the imitation girl, hence the title, and flipping back to what I'm assuming is Chicago, where the actual porn actress is, and all the stuff that she's going through. So that's about the extent of the story. Where this film really shines is performances, especially in the lead actress and the dual roles that she plays. They are so vastly different. One has the short hair, one has the long hair, but that's just appearance. I'm talking everything from language to mannerisms, the way that she articulates and starts out just so wooden and strange from not even really knowing how to walk as this alien that's taken the porn star girl's form initially, to how just how much more expressive and just wide-eyed and taking in everything with such wonder she is as she's learning and as she's soaking up different languages and just kind of getting to know these two people who have taken her in, this brother and sister. And then in counterbalance, just the troubled, just brooding and depressed nature of her counterpart that she has mimicked. I cannot stress enough the incredible nature of the performance, playing two drastically despondent characters by this girl. She impressed the hell out of me. She genuinely did. I know she was in Mind's Eye. She's done a ton of genre work, and so this is further. The one thing that is going to turn people off once again, is just that dreamlike, strange, just ethereal aspect of this sort of acting, and how there isn't even lots of exposition a lot of the time. You're more so left to just kind of listen carefully to dialogue and just look at characters and how they're reacting, and how they're acting, and just how they're dealing with things that were just kind of hinted towards and whatnot. So acting is great, though. Story not for everybody. Acting is great. There's really no practical to be mentioned about, with the exception of one scene in the end, and then also a couple scenes that are almost kaleidoscopic, where it's almost like tripping out and going into whatever world potentially this creature that came and mimicked this girl came from, And also they are kind of seeing each other at a couple times, almost like they have this strange mind connection, and like one will appear in a mirror and then the other one will just like appear randomly. So there is obviously a mental connection, despite the fact that all she did was mimic forms from pages that she saw. So there's a little bit of an element of disbelief that you have to just run with on this, which, hey, it's the movies, for God's sake. Like my dad always used to say, check your brain in at the door. And if you can get past the slow-moving nature of this and just focus on the sad, tragic performances and the fact that there's eventually, hopefully, right, going to be some sort of sci-fi with like the slightest thrilling, not full-on horror, obviously, but just that essence of payoff. And I can't spoil. It's a payoff that might not work for a lot of people, but it did for me. And so, cinematography, not really too much beyond just the beautiful desert landscapes. We get initially great views of Chicago, seeing like the trains and stuff going across. I'm still not 100% in Chicago, but I'm pretty damn sure it was, because I just visited there last year for the first time and spent a lot of time on the train and whatnot. So, aside from that, score was interesting in the fact that it had its little bleeps and bloops and synthy nature a little bit, but there was also just the sadness of the fact that the girl who has got into porn, she used to be a musician and she was a pianist for a long time, and so there are some classical notes here and there as well, which are they just kind of add to her brooding and building despair, I guess. And so, do they meet? I guess that's what you'll have to watch the movie to find out, guys, because as I said before, they are drawn to each other. So I did enjoy this movie, but be forewarned, not for everybody. But for me, as art house to the 9th degree as it was, I actually dug it. So I've been Jaime and Fuego. We ask you to like, share, subscribe if you dig this video. Ring that bell if you have not, so you get all of the notifications about the badass stuff that we are always doing here on the Horror Show, because there are so many more reviews coming at, one that you can shake a stick at, Cartman status, like come and smack it with a stick. So, until next time, Fright fans, I've been Jaime and Fuego. Y'all have been awesome. And until we meet once again, remember, stay scared.